super big annoyance. It ruins your day. And then the question is like, do you contest it? Do you bother? You just heard Matt Guite, producer of the Leslie Roberts show, saying he got one right out front. It was not justified. There used to be a sign, snowplow knocked the sign down, so it looked like he was parked illegally, but he wasn't. And it was $90. So what should he do? Is it worth it to take a day off work and fight it? I've had my fair share of tickets. I pretty much contest them all. Whether I'm innocent or not. Sometimes I'm innocent and sometimes I'm not. But I just figure it's worth contesting. You win some, you lose some. Well, let's find out what an expert has to say about it. Avi Levy is a lawyer with Ticket 911. Hi, Avi.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks, and yourself?
I'm great. What do you think about my theory that it's always worth a shot?
Well, I mean, you and I think a lot of people think like you, and there are quite a few people that do contest the tickets. I mean, I think it really depends on what type of ticket you get. I mean, if it's got demerit points, it will affect your driving record and it will affect your insurance.
Mm-hmm.
So those should most definitely be contested if you think that you're in the right.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are no demerit points, then it really depends on, the time, what your time is worth. I mean, if you get a $56 parking ticket, it may not be worthwhile to take the day off to fight it.
What are the odds? Like, say you have, so I was telling my story about the time that I did get off. I was parked about, I'd say 8 to 12 inches past a post that said no stopping or no parking. I can't recall. But I was like just over it. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I took a bunch of pictures. I sent it all in and I got off. But say I hadn't. Say I got the notification saying, nope, you have to come in and defend yourself. What are the chances? Like, am I better to just pay the...
Well, it depends. I mean, the more you know what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
the more your chances of winning are increased. The less you know what you're doing, obviously, the less your chances of winning are increased because you're not quite sure what burden of proof you have to fulfill.
Okay.
So knowing what you're doing increases your chances of winning by quite a bit.
Let's assume most of us don't know what we're doing.
Right.
Because you just, you feel we get righteous about it.
Right. Well, that's why offices like mine exist, is actually to help out people like yours in your situation that feel that they're right. However, they don't know how to express themselves or don't know how to defend their right
Mm-hmm.
in court.
Yeah, because we get flustered and we get emotional. The one time that I didn't get off, I had pulled over. I'd spilled coffee, and I pulled over in a zone. I don't know if it was no stopping or parking, but anyway, I ran into a place for like 30 seconds to a minute to grab some paper towels, and by the time I came back out, I had a big ticket. And when I went to court with it and argued, because I was like, this is a fair argument. It's not like, for my own safety and the safety of other people, I had to pull over. I spilled coffee, and the judge said that it was my own will, my choice to have a coffee in the car, and the subsequent spilling of that coffee was my own doing.
Right.
And you know what? I cried. Avi, I cried because I so thought, no, this isn't justified. But I wasted my time and my money and had to take time off work.
That's the issue. That's the problem that most people have to deal with. And that's why I say if there are no demerit points, that'll cost you either your license or cost you an increase in insurance or in the license renewal fees, then for most people, I tell them it's not worth fighting. If it's a parking ticket, I tell them for the most part it's not worth fighting, even if you're frustrated about it. Because if you end up getting found guilty, the price is going to go up with the court fees.
Yeah.
And if you end up losing, you're going to end up having to pay the ticket and losing a day of work. So that just compounds the issue.
Isn't it always worth the first try, though? Because the first try, you write in and you explain what happened, maybe send your photos or whatever you have. Like, it's worth that first shot. And then if you don't get off that time.
I would tend to agree with you, but my experience shows me that in every time you write an explanation and send it in, I have not seen them cancel a ticket yet based on that. So
Yeah.
I'm not so convinced that works, or I might even say ever works.
Just one time for me it worked. And
That's it. So it's very few and far between. So I don't think the majority. I would tell you if the odds were that 50% of them get canceled when you send it in, I would tell you for sure. But I think it's way, way, way below that. Way below that. I think it's a very small amount.
Okay, so Avi, if we we do decide to go to court, say it is for demerit points in a higher amount, say it's a school bus stop and it's like 9 demerit points or something, and you do want to go and you fight it, what kind of success rate do you see?
We have a very high success rate, actually.
Because you know what you're doing.
Close to 90%, because we were prosecutors for 17 and a half years and did 40,000 trials. So, I mean, we've got our share of experience. You know, we paid our dues, as they say.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of trials, and we sort of understand what burden of proof needs to be presented and what will work and what won't work. So your coffee story, for example, I could have told you would not have worked. But if you tell me that your car stalled and then you could use a defense of necessity and you couldn't start the car, well, for example, that may have worked.
Okay.
So it all really, like I say, the more you know, the more your chances of success are, because you know what you're doing, like in any other business, I would imagine.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the tips, Avi.
No problem. My pleasure. Anytime.
Avi Levy is a lawyer, and he's also with Ticket 911. They help you get out of your tickets.